Namaste. Welcome to be my guest. Joining me today is Louisa Mattson. Welcome. A long-time resident of Concord, Massachusetts, who practices and teaches Eden energy medicine amongst all other great accomplishments and other energy healing modalities. I'm going to leave Louisa to tell us more about herself. So our topic today is about Eden energy, correct? Mm-hmm. So welcome, Louisa, and can you please tell our audience more about yourself and your background, please, and a little bit aware of energy healing.
I really have had 3 careers. I consider energy healing my third act. I started out and still am a licensed clinical psychologist in Massachusetts and was a psychotherapist for many years. And in the mid-1990s, I joined the corporate world and am still working for a corporate career management consulting firm, where I help senior executives with their career transition, and I'm the business psychologist there. And then I've always been interested in energy healing, even from my mid-20s, and have studied a variety of modalities, but it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I decided, I really need to make a commitment and delve into one particular modality and start working in the field. So that's what I've done.
So you've done very many, right? You've done Reiki, you want to tell us all the different
I started with a weekend workshop on therapeutic touch in my early 30s. I learned Reiki starting in the 90s. The 3 modalities I use most now are Eden energy medicine, that's my primary one, reconnective healing, and Reiki.
So that's still quite a few, and I know there's many, many, many out there.
There are.
So why Eden energy?
Well, I find it one of the most comprehensive of all the energy healing modalities. And I love the self-help component because I think it's really empowering for people to have at their fingertips ways that they can activate their own healing energies and also restore any energies that are out of balance.
So my understanding is almost all of them are similar, right? I mean, for instance, Reiki is the same way you can teach yourself to heal yourself too, just not...
Yes, yeah. But for Eden, I love Donna Eden's work because she has sort of categorized 9 different energy systems. And your audience is probably familiar with at least 3 of them. There's the meridian system, which is sort of the energy riverways. The chakra system, the energy vortexes up the midline of the body. And then the aura, I like to use the more scientific term biofield, sort of our energetic atmosphere. So those are 3 main ones, but there are a number of other ones that Donna sees how they're interconnected. And so I just think it's quite a robust system.
All right. So what are its roots?
Well, its roots, it's a new field, but it does have ancient roots. And those are mainly from Eastern health practices such as acupuncture or yoga or qigong. And then Eden energy medicine also builds upon what we know about our health from Western medicine. So it's both a complement, can be used as a complement to whatever health procedures somebody is seeking out, and it also has, what I said before, this wonderful system, comprehensive system of self-care.
So that's how it sort of complements the Western medicine. I mean,
yes, it can be used in conjunction with Western medicine.
And very much a sound body and a sound spirit and a sound mind, right?
Yes, yeah. I like to say it helps keep your body and psyche humming. So,
very nice way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what is the energy that energy medicine addresses?
Well, I love that question because you know, so many of us, when we hear about energy healing, we immediately think woo-woo. And I like to tell people that energy healing deals with electricity and electromagnetism. I can't even say the word right. Electromagnetic fields. It also deals with more subtle energies. But what I'd love to do is just talk about electrical energy. Every cell in our body is like a tiny battery that emits and stores electrical impulses, and every time we make a move or we breathe or even something as wispy as a thought has an electrical component to it.
Right. I mean, we are just one energy field from top to toe anyway. So, you know, it all complements each other, and when something goes off there, that's when things go wrong. So you help to bring it back to neutral.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so I brought in a little, it's actually a child's toy called an energy stick. And what it is it's a transparent tube with some wires in it. And there are 2 electrodes here. So what I would like you to do, Hamsha, is just put your hands on those. There's not going to be any shock involved.
I think I know what's going to happen.
Okay,
I'm just going to do it for the audience.
Yep, so just hold that there. So what Hamsha's doing is she's creating an electrical circuit. Electrons are moving through, you know, along your skin and circling back. And we can even, here's another one, we can even hold hands. Let's see, how are we going to do this? No, we can't do that. We're going to do this. There. That's creating the electrical circuit.
Right.
So electrical charge is one energy that we work with, and then electromagnetic fields. You know, the magnetic, we're like a bar magnet with our North Pole in our head. It's supposed to be in our head, and South Pole at our feet. And I think it was 5th grade that we played with magnets and iron filings, and you could see the iron filings organizing themselves along the lines of the force field. And that is what we have. We can't see it necessarily, but we have a force field around us based on our, you know, the bar magnet that we have. And the third kind of energy or category of energy is subtle energy, and that's a catch-all for, I think it was Einstein who said, subtle energy is energy that we know is there because we can see its effects, but we can't yet measure it directly. And so we've got those 3 kinds of energy, but definitely electrical and electromagnetic, well within the realm of any hardcore Western scientist.
Oh yes, I'm assuming that Donna Eden's stuff has gone through some scientific research has been done, and probably better accepted in the community than anything else.
You know, I don't know about research that's been done particularly on her system, but I can tell you something that was very validating for me is about 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to be part of a research project by a researcher called Melinda Connor, and she is on the path of trying to categorize what are the competencies, the core competencies that any really good energy healer, no matter what the modality is, what are those core competencies that they're going to exhibit. And so she put us through about 11 or 12 different tests, and a lot of the instruments that we were being measured by are instruments, again, that any engineer would know of. There are things like multimeters and triaxial somethings. So she measured our ability to make direct current and alternating current in each hand, to shift magnetic fields, to impact radio frequencies. And one of the most interesting ones was she gave us a glass of water. We each had a glass of water, and we were told in 10 minutes, shift the alkalinity of the water.
Oh,
So, you know, I can feel effervescence in my fingers, which I call energy, but it was so validating to know I could actually move the dial on these scientific tests. So I think that really, I love where sort of the magic of energy healing and science meet. And for me, being part of that research was just nifty.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so nice that you know that you are part of a bigger thing, right?
Yes.
And
yeah.
you know, there are more and more research being done on different things, and energy healing is definitely out there.
Yeah.
Whether you call it energy medicine, whether you call it energy healing, alternative therapies, and you know, at the end of the day, it is our body, mind, and soul, and we need to be grounded. And I believe with that you have a way to help one ground besides being outside on a bare feet. And
Right, right. They always say walk outside, you know, on wet grass with bare feet, and that is probably the best way to get grounded. But
or sea sand.
Or swim in the ocean.
Yes, yes,
you know.
yes. Well, salt is always a
Yes.
good way of. You know, if you do crystal healing,
Right.
Crystal healing is another sense, right? They tell you to cleanse your crystals. I know it's not
Yeah.
related, but it's in salt water.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's all all interrelated.
Yes.
And every single one of them I know works, even though it may, you know, I'm still mind boggled how these things work. Because you know, you and I volunteer at a local hospital.
Right, right.
With Reiki.
As a Reiki volunteers, yeah.
And we just see patients for just 10 minutes. It's amazing what they come up with after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you always amazed with that?
I am gratified and amazed and honored to be part of that process.
Yes.
I find it very fulfilling.
And I know you have other things that you do in Concord as well. You teach, and you also therapist.
I no longer practice psychotherapy, but you know, as a psychologist, it's in my bones, and certainly that psychological knowledge is really important when I work with people on in an energy healing session.
Oh, you call it a session. I was calling it a therapy. Okay, I understand now. So yes, it is a session. You think about it,
right?
And it's is it normally like an hour or so?
I like to leave about an hour and a half.
Okay.
So my sessions are longer than most. And you know, a typical session would be I would check in with the client on where they are, what hurts, and what would they like instead. We might actually assess some basic energy systems. You know, one thing that energy, when it's healthy, likes to do is it likes to have room to move. So there are certain exercises where, stretching exercises, where you actually literally give the energy in your body room to move. Another interesting thing about energy is when it's healthy, it likes to move in crossover patterns in the body. And we all know, like, the right hemisphere affects the left side of the body and vice versa. So that's a crossover pattern. But even at the DNA level with the double helix, that's a tiny, you know, crossover pattern. So at all levels, healthy energy likes to cross over, and if we assess somebody's energies and they're sort of working in more parallel form, there's some simple exercises that usually can help people to shift in that direction.
I know there's always movements of infinity, right?
Eights are very good. Eights are a crossover pattern. And in fact, now Donna Eden can actually see that energy. I can feel, but she sees figure eights in the aura, in all parts of the body. And in fact, if somebody did nothing more than just making figure eights, and especially if they have a boo-boo or a pain, making figure eights over that area oftentimes can alleviate some of the pain.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
so how many minutes does one need in order to self heal with Donna Eden? If they don't need to come for a session, but they're doing it by themselves.
If they were doing it there's something called the daily energy routine, and right now it's just 8 simple, no sweat, I always say no sweat exercises that people can do to keep their body and psyche humming. They call it about a 5-minute routine. I think it's more like a 7 or 8. And then, if people read Donna Eden's book, this is her seminal book, and this one is geared a little bit more for women's issues. But there are so many other simple exercises, simple but really powerful ones that, once you know them, you want to add to your routine. So it can expand, but if somebody did 5 minutes of the daily energy routine once or twice a day, over time, it's like going to the gym, over time, they would be making significant shifts in their energy system and then in their health and well-being.
And they always say, try and do all of these things when you are well.
Yeah.
So when you do need it, when you get sick, it's easier to get healed because you already have it stored. They say the same thing with prayer, right? Always do your prayer no matter what. And at the time, it's sort of stored. So the same way, energy is always stored for the time of need.
Right, to build up your
agree?
Resilience and to
Right.
create those energy pathways and actually neural pathways in the brain over time.
Right, and the thing is, it's like building your immunity. So
Yep.
that's how I relate it. I don't know whether you find...
Absolutely. I'm not going to do it because I have a mic on, but we have a thymus gland right in the middle of our chest, and just tapping that, okay? Just tapping this can pump up the immune system. So that's just one of what they call the 4 thumps. Everybody has learned just one of the exercises, part of that routine.
There is another energy thing called tapping. Did you hear of that?
Yes.
Is this similar? No, not really.
That's part of energy psychology, and I actually came to energy psychology a decade or more before I learned about energy medicine. And there's an energy tapping technique that most people have heard of by now called emotional freedom technique, where you you think of something distressful, maybe it's a distressful memory or phobia, and then you start tapping. Seems sort of silly. You start tapping on all these points are the ends or beginnings of meridians. And there's something very powerful that happens when you have a mismatch between a distressing thought that would really activate our fight-flight system and this tapping, emotional acupressure without the needles, that causes that system to relax. And when you've got that mismatch, something magical happens, and a lot of times you could still have the memory, but you don't have that yucky emotional charge with it.
So that's one of the 5 exercises?
That is it's a related system, and actually I like to subsume energy psychology under energy medicine. And Donna Eden's husband, David Feinstein, is a very well known, one of the key people in the whole field of energy psychology. And there's lots of, I'm really up on the research on energy psychology. We've got 50 randomized controlled trials and at least 50 pre and post outcome studies, and all but one have shown that energy psychology techniques are effective. So,
well, I've learned a lot, and now let us see what you do for our grounding.
Okay, so we have these very technical tools here. And I'm going to just use this. So this is a stainless steel spoon, and stainless steel has about 50% iron in it. I didn't know that until recently. So you want to use a stainless steel spoon.
Not a plastic spoon.
Not a
Or
plastic,
not a
and not
spoon.
even a silver spoon.
But
the stainless steel.
Something that will get a magnet touch.
Yes.
Put a magnet.
Yes. There are some other kinds of metals, metal alloys that will have some electromagnetic
Like
pull.
brass?
Nickel, and I forget some of the others. But I think it's best to use one that a magnet would attach to, which is stainless steel. So when we have the bar magnet, where north is supposed to be here and south is supposed to be there, sometimes if we're on a jet plane, or we've been working on a computer, we've been indoors too much, or we've been sitting still.
Or the EMFs.
Yeah, our polarity can get out of whack. And this is, especially in wintertime, a very simple thing to do. All you need to do is you just rub the spoon on the bottom of your feet. And
is there any number to get a rub, or is this?
You know, you probably want to do it for maybe 30 seconds. You can do it for longer. It actually feels much better to have somebody else do it on you. I think there must be some energetic exchange when that happens.
Yes, you get extra energy, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because,
and you can do figure eights. But this really helps with the polarity. It is said to help the cells in your body sort of line up.
You want to try the other feet too? Or
yes, I really should. Well, you know, what's really interesting is when you do one foot, you can just pause for a moment and notice if you can see a difference. This foot seems a little bit more alive to me, so I will balance my feet out here in front of the television audience. Okay.
Right, so the cameras can pick it up too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so interesting. So it's such a nice, you know, besides nowadays they're selling all these grounding mats and selling all these different things. So this is such a simple thing to
this is really helping with polarity. And when your polarity is, you know, going the right way, then it's much easier to be grounded. It's like having, you know, the north side and the south side of two magnets. They want to come together, they, you know, as opposed to things that are fighting. And as sometimes our polarity can get reversed, where our north pole is in our feet, and that doesn't help us really pull in the energy from the ground and get rid of excess energy.
So does pure silver work that way too?
Say that again?
Pure silver.
Silver doesn't.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a magnet won't attach to silver, so don't use your grandmother's silverware for this.
Yes, I will. I will try that out and see.
Yeah, yeah.
Because one of the things we do is we wear toe rings. Which is silver.
Oh. So and is there an energetic
I did
effect
not
to
find
that?
out. And as you're talking about this, I've been thinking about it and wondering if it has that effect too.
Yeah. Well, I've been told that silver spoon won't be effective, but I'm always open to new data.
Oh, well, something I just thought about it right now as you're doing this in silver too.
Yeah.
So, well, in closing, would you like to tell us, what would you like to leave our audience with tonight?
Well, I think, you know, my main message would be that everyone has literally at their fingertips the ability to activate their natural healing energies and also to restore any energies that are out of whack. And they can do it very simply, reading Donna's book, going on their YouTube videos of Donna doing the daily energy routine. So that's something they can do. And then if they want to explore things further, or there's some chronic disruption that they'd like to understand more and see if it can be shifted, then seeing an energy medicine practitioner who can really start to pinpoint where the disordered energy is would be a good idea.
And where can they get hold of such a practitioner?
Well, I am such a practitioner, and
so you want to give us your details?
Yeah, my website is www.concordenergyhealing.com, and I'm also on the what they call the Inner Source Directory. So if you looked up Donna Eden and directory, you would find me as one of a number of practitioners in Massachusetts. And I do have a number of really good energy medicine buddies that, if I'm not the right person, I can probably make a referral to somebody who'd be very helpful.
So one of my questions was to ask you, what is a typical session like? And I missed that. So
okay, so a typical session, well, I would say a first session would be, I take a history, we do assess some of the basic energies, and then the best part is I put you on the massage table, fully clothed except for shoes, and we want to have you get rid of cell phones or any bulky jewelry.
That disrupts energy.
Yeah, and then we do a quick energy balance session, which might be anywhere from half an hour to 45 minutes or longer. Tends to be very relaxing and refreshing for people. And then we might delve, if we have time, delve in further and really try to pinpoint some things. Like if somebody has, let's say, an ankle pain, well, it may be a meridian that runs through that particular spot that we can help to relax and relieve the pain. And then there's a closing and homework, the empowering homework.
Oh, nice.
That if people do some of the exercises that I give them, it really helps solidify the gains they've made in a session, and then the progress of their sessions will move much more quickly.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, well, thank you. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you to my guests for joining me. And always remember, we're available on ActonTV.org or YouTube. And any comments, write to flavorfleets@gmail.com. I'm your host, Amsha Naidu. Till we meet again, bye-bye.